identification.
What did you say? I'll tighten those restraints. Scavenger scum.
We don't need to see his identification.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
My lord.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture. I'm reiterating myself. World War III, I used that last week, and it looks like we're closer than ever. Or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I am Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I don't know yet. Ask me when I catch my breath from running in here and getting naked in front of you.
Yeah, it was quite the show.
Pop quiz. What underwear was I wearing?
I was trying not to pay attention.
Really?
Yeah.
Shame.
So apparently Dave wanted me to look at his underwear as he was changing in here.
Ah, it's the sea turtles. I'm wearing. I got sea turtles on. What's not cool? What's not to love about sea turtle underwear?
I mean, I guess that's fine.
It's the MeUndies.
Oh yeah, Kristen and Ben have some of those.
MeUndies. It's like Bill Burr singing, because he used to. I haven't listened to the Monday morning podcast in a while, but I know he used to do MeUndies sponsorship thing,
Right?
And he'd sing it, like
Oh,
MeUndies. It's just doing this Bill Burr thing.
Is that? Oh, go ahead.
By the way, I have that thing for Kristen in the back of my car. Don't let me forget.
What is it?
It's the thing that Kathy said we're going. It's fine. Just don't let me forget. Somebody don't let me forget. With the ball hammock. Yes. It has the extra ball hammocks.
So aside from ball hammocks, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about the biggest ball hammock. That's not really true. We are going to take a step back in time.
Yes.
A time when buildings were I got nothing. Like I'm still trying to fucking we're gonna talk about pyramids and shit.
Yeah.
Pyramids.
That's what we should have called it. Pyramids and shit.
Pyramids and shit. Fucking write that down. Pyramids and shit. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the pyramids, and we're gonna talk about Easter Island.
Yes.
Because you saw a thing on Easter Island and it piqued your interest, and I have things to say about the pyramids.
All right.
So we're gonna do this thing.
All right. Sounds good.
And then we get this guy. I'm a mess.
All right. Well, while you're getting yourself situated, I'm going to start with Patreon. And
you should start with Patreon.
Yes.
Good sir.
So if you're enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content, consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast and help make it possible for us to continue to bring you quality content week after week. Quality is subjective.
Is that written in there?
No.
Oh.
We'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Frank Kalevich, Catherine Rennick, Dragon Buddy, Lord Helmet Fire. You can do that for everyone. Nick from Sweet Studios, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Don Solsky, not distracting at all, Wally Frogmore, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Helen Martin, Sterling Azier, Nicholas Schaefer, Kristen Roscom, Carly Vickers, Ivo G, Shotgun Mark, Frederick Martin, David Schmuck, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, and the Orange and Fett Show. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this. Oh, did you hear that nice crisp snap?
Yeah, I don't got that shit. Wait a minute, that actually sounded like a snap a little bit.
A little bit. I still heard the
Nope,
thump in it, though.
Yeah, no. Nope. It's like a flat tire. It's like... what the fuck?
It's your weird, destroyed hands.
Yeah, apparently. The Lego hands.
Yep. So, we got any Sidebar headlines as far as you know?
Well, it's too freaking hot for headlines. That's what she wrote.
Oh, okay.
So, and I agree. It's too fucking hot. Dude, I've been in a class all day, and I came out of that classroom.
Oh, that's right. That's this week.
Yeah.
That you're doing that.
Yeah, that's why I was running late. And because obviously I can't leave early,
Yeah.
for this formal training, and I like getting out of there, and I like before I even got to the doors, like the heat's like radiating in. I'm like, oh god, this stuff, fuck this, it's too fucking hot. It's mid-June, well,
Yeah.
latest June. Mid to latest June.
Yeah, a little high for now.
Yeah, I
at
mean,
this
it
time in
just
New
turned
Jersey.
summer like seconds ago.
Yeah.
It almost, again, it's like if I'm not trying, it almost happens.
Yeah.
Maybe if I go away from me. Nope, boat. That's the worst. Oh god.
So yeah, it's been super fucking hot here in New Jersey. It's a bit of a heat wave, a little higher than we are normally used to this time of year.
We're having a heat wave.
But I think that's happening kind of all over the country right now. So
Tropical heat wave. It's
um,
a song.
so in the news, let's talk about some not so serious news stuff first.
All right.
There is a rumor out
Okay.
there that the Rey movie that's been in production and been talked about since Rey from Star Wars, by the way, in
Right.
case you're new to the show. If
Not
in case-
Ray Romano.
Right.
Like of, of whatever that show.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Everyone loves Raymond.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
But not him.
no, the Rey as in Star Wars Rey. If just in case somebody's joining us for the pyramid conversation and they never heard of the show before,
Right.
We're primarily a Star Wars show.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to spend about the next 47 minutes not talking about the pyramids.
That's true.
Just giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Hit that like button.
All right. So yeah, apparently it's been shelved. Now not not permanently, but apparently it's temporarily going on like a hold because they have gone through, I think it's been like 6 or 7 writers at this point for the script. That Charmine lady is still tagged to direct it.
Charmine?
Yeah, that's her first name. Charnine Obijai something or other.
I had a baby, it's a boy.
Yeah, she known for directing documentaries.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember this broad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
She's the kind of broad that would love me calling her broad.
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, she would love it.
Yes.
She would absolutely. She'd be like, "You, sir, I enjoy that."
Yeah.
No,
Never
I don't think she would.
never directed a major motion picture or anything, just
Nope.
documentaries and one episode of a Marvel show.
Yeah,
So
obviously the right person for this character, who is obviously going to continue the Skywalker saga. One of the most important figures of the movies.
of all the movies.
Let's hand it to. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, what
we see how well that's working right now.
Right, exactly, because this thing was supposed to start going into production a year ago, something like that, but they can't seem to finalize a script.
I feel really bad for Daisy Ridley because for the faults of what we see in the sequel trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
I think myself, and I feel like you feel the same way. It's not I hate the Rey character.
No,
No,
nothing to do with that.
I loved Force Awakens.
yeah,
I think it was such a, like, the entire experience was just great to get back
Yeah.
into Star Wars and that whole thing, and then getting kicked in the nuts and punched in the face and then kicked in the nuts again, with the follow-ons. It doesn't reflect that at all on Daisy Ridley's portrayal of the character.
no, not at all.
And I want the best for her and for this character.
Mhm.
So honestly, if that means, hey, we're not doing it right now because we don't have the right people involved, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
It's kind of like what they should have done with Solo. It's like, all right, we don't have the right people. Get Ron Howard. Throw Ron Howard at it. Here's a new hat. And put that hat on, and go over there and direct it. Go and finish it.
yeah.
It's not really finished. Well, yeah. No, change that. All right. Yeah, go ahead, dude. Help us.
Yeah, and the beauty of this too is Daisy Ridley is still so young, right? because it's not like we're taking a 30-year break from from the OG, the way we did from the OG trilogy to
Right.
the sequels.
You're not having to do a bunch of CGI to make her like, hey, this is bringing her back to the youthful character. Like she's
Yeah.
still got it.
Yeah, and I mean, and even if this does take several more years to go into production, or even a decade, you can still get Daisy Ridley. She's not going anywhere,
Right.
and I'm sure she'd love to do it
Hopefully,
again.
knock on wood.
Yeah, I know, right? She's not in Iran, is she?
No, God, I hope not.
Yeah. But yeah, like they could readdress this in 10 years, and I'm sure she'd still be willing to come in, and then they can just set it, 15 years in the future.
Right. Exactly.
But
The world is our Star Wars oyster, and I really want them to get it right for the sake of her.
and I mean, let's be honest. Okay,
Let's not. No honesty.
now I'm going to be honest here.
Damn it.
We all know. Deep
Everybody
down,
knew. Everybody knew when you came through the goddamn door, you're going to get the chicken.
there's going to be an episode 10. They're going to do another trilogy. When? Who knows? But it's going to happen.
I don't know, man.
I think they will. They'll hit another down point for Star Wars, and then they'll need like a massive reboot, and they'll do a new trilogy for a new generation.
I mean,
And maybe it won't have many legacy characters in it at all, even from the sequel trilogy. Maybe it'll be a brand new thing, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen one of these years. So I hope it happens within the time of Daisy Ridley, so her character can.
yeah. And if it
Continue
doesn't, I hope it happens in our lifetime so we can be critical of it. And the chances are that it's going to be recycling some old John Williams music, because I doubt if it waits any longer than the next couple of years that he's going to have the physical ability to compose more music.
Right. I know he wants to.
He'll do it. But I think he's getting older.
Yeah.
Like I noticed, like he's showing up to stages in a wheelchair, and it's
Now, if he wants to set his family up for the future, he'll start writing out his ideas for the next trilogy.
oh man, he's got a fucking crate. He's got the Sacred Jedi full of just all the music, and that just would be like, it'd be like a Jack in a Box. It'd just be like, oh no, he's gone, and then push, and it'll just rain Star Wars music for the rest of our lifetimes.
I hope so. I hope he
got
got
forever.
at least some in the vault,
Yeah.
something in there. Because
If not, we have so much music to enjoy.
we do.
You know what? I fucked up. I didn't. Well, it's not a Star Wars episode,
Right.
so I didn't do my usual Star Wars like hype music before the show.
Was it more? It's getting hot in here.
So take off all your clothes. I didn't take off all my clothes.
A good portion of them.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hot in here, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And we're trying this new thing where we leave the air conditioner on. So
Yeah. By the way, if you guys hear the air conditioner in the background, let us know, because we have not turned it off like we normally do.
Helmet Fire says he can't hear it. So
Okay.
anyway,
So yeah, Ray movie possibly shelved. Who the hell knows? It's Disney Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy though made a comment recently about some of the future Star Wars projects and how a lot of the movies are now going to be single stories, because we've got Mandalorian and Grogu coming up, and
Right.
then we've got Starfighter after that.
okay.
And she's basically saying that the future is single standalone movies, which I don't know how
If they're good, I don't have a problem with it.
yeah.
You know, if they can produce something that's like, you know, we I think talked last week or the week before where the rumor was that they're not going to be doing as much on the streaming.
Right. Yeah, the live action streaming.
So if they pull back from that and they put that effort into doing all right, we're going to put this into a movie, and I think it can be done.
Oh yeah,
depending on where they decide to put their focus area.
yeah,
But you're not going to have, if you want to develop a complete character arc and not do it in a trilogy, I think that's Star Wars. It's not going to feel like Star Wars.
yeah.
It's just going to feel kind of like Marvel.
Right, and it's weird because Mandalorian and Grogu, it's very familiar to us. You know, we know the characters, we know everything going into this movie, so it's not going to feel that.
Yeah, this is almost like a capstone event for those characters.
Right. Whereas with Starfighter, that's going to be the real test because that's the one that's going to be produced with this whole standalone movie concept in mind.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if
when's that supposed to come out?
It's going into production in September, and I think they said
It's like 28 probably or 27.
27, I think.
All right. All right. Well.
Yeah,
It seems like really far away, but it's
Yeah, you know what? I think it's actually May of 27 to align with the 50th anniversary of the OG.
50.
Which, by the way, you texted me something about it earlier. How they got a hold of the original Raw.
Oh yeah.
Reel.
Yeah, they had a screening of it somewhere.
Yeah, it's some film festival or something.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people were complaining that it looked like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, look, so the way the article portrayed it was that they had an original like reel of it, and when they put it up in this theater, that people were talking about how you could see a lot like of the you could see a lot of the formatting. You could see even like where some of the dialogue was like more clunky. McClunky, no. But the crowd did cheer when Han shot first.
Nice.
Appropriately. But having said that, if I'm going into that theater, right, I'm going to sit down and be prepared to watch something that was in 1977.
Yeah,
right?
which we didn't get to experience.
No.
Because we were too young at that point.
Yeah, I was not. Nobody was bringing my 2-year-old ass into a fucking movie theater,
right?
In California.
Yeah, and me being 6 months old at the time.
Yeah, my dad's out on a ship. I seriously doubt my mom was going to take me into theater to see Star Wars. Who knows? But that didn't happen. So we talked about it at length, right? My first real, just actual, like I remember every second of it, the lead up into it, the standing in line, the hell thing was Jedi.
Yeah,
and
same.
I saw Empire in the drive-in, but really, it's not a full memory.
Right.
Jedi though, I remember every minute of that. I remember standing in line, being in a little robe, having my little lightsaber. It's like the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
So getting the opportunity to see the original cut, I'm going to look at it and go like, it's the original cut. I don't give a shit what it looks like.
Yeah.
It could be fucking scotch taped up there. I don't give a shit. This is an opportunity to kind of like go back in time.
Yeah.
And see something that otherwise I'd never get to see.
Mm-hmm.
So all those people who are just like, oh man, it didn't look that good. You know what? You shouldn't be in a position to go fucking see something like that.
I know, right?
Why did you get to see that when so many others would fucking kill to see it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Anyway.
But yeah, so that happened too. So anyway, that's pretty much all the Star Wars news that I had. Are we ready to get into the week?
Sure.
All right. Well, let's get it over with, and let's talk about Iran a little bit.
All right. I'm gonna let you lead with the you rang.
Yeah.
Just for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So when last we saw each other, us in the audience. Tensions were high, but the U.S. had not gotten involved yet into the Iran situation until over the weekend when, well, we did. And we bombed the 3 nuclear sites over the weekend they were great. They were successful.
It's good. It's a good impression.
Yeah, so we're now involved in this war that we had nothing to fucking do with. I know we try to be the world police and we try to keep the wrong people from getting their hands on certain types of weapons, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I think this was a huge mistake, that first bombing, and I was just really hoping that Iran wouldn't retaliate, which they did this morning. They fired missiles at Al-Udeid Air Base in Qatar, which at least I know I've frequented that base.
Oh, yeah.
So, in fact, the John and I shared a room there once.
Yeah, I've been there several times.
Yeah. You know, thankfully the missiles didn't get through. They were all intercepted. But I can see this being a new escalation in this conflict, because now I can see us coming back and being like, oh, well, fuck, you just launched stuff at our bases. Now we're going to really fucking annihilate you. And it's going to be another fucking Iraq. That's where I feel like this is going. I don't like it. I don't agree with it.
It's, may we live in interesting times.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm going to say about it is that the people that are in harm's way right now, I worry for them.
Hell yeah.
And more so because of how, like, it was different when we were there. If this was happening while we were there, like, you take it differently, right?
Yeah.
Because we're there assuming that risk.
Right.
But now that I have people that I know that are there and I can't go, like, I can't assume that risk anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
our time is over, unfortunately.
right. So now I'm like, as an outsider, I'm like, fuck, it just feels different. Like, the whole thing just feels different. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I will say, though, that I don't know if have I told this story about the having the Scud launched at me?
I don't think on the show you have.
So, fun story. I'll make it quick. Back in, I don't know, 99, I think. I think it was 99. Deployed for Northern Watch.
Yep.
Right? So, in Tent City, in Incirlik. And, you know, present day Incirlik, everything's hard billets and everything else. But it was, no kidding, like Tent City.
Yeah.
With Cadillacs and the whole shoot match. So I was on the night shift, and we were getting ready to go on shift, catch airplanes, and we're like half dressed or whatever. And you remember Michelle Evans? Yeah. So Michelle Evans kicks the fucking door in to the tent. Wham! Like, get in the van, we gotta go! We're like, what is happening? What? So we're like, grab our uniform tops and shit, and fucking, we dogpile into this Haji van. And it was full. Like, full.
Yeah.
Now, if you picture, like, I'm using, it's just a derogatory term, I know it is, but that's what we called it. I don't know what else to call it.
Oh, what, the van?
The van.
Yeah.
So we're in the van, and there was like probably 24 of us in this thing, like all sandwiched in. And I'm like, it's a clown car. The ass of it is dragging, and as we're going down the road, like we're going the back way to the hush house where all our shit it was, and it can't hear anything because there's just people, and I'm an airman. Right. This is my first deployment. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And as we drive by, we see all the security forces people. They're putting all their mop gear on.
Yeah. Which means chem gear.
All their chemical warfare gear.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that, and then as we go by the Turkish like guard for the flight line, he's just standing there like, what? What's the fuck? Right, nothing. So I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
So we get up to the hush house, and all dog pile out of there, and it's like mop level 4 condition black.
Wow.
Right. And all of their stuff, because there was no expectation that Saddam was actually going to launch anything at us.
Yeah.
So we didn't have our stuff out. It was all in, the plywood bins, like you used to build in the floor of the 135. It was in those bins in the middle of the floor of the hush house. So it's all our A bags are fucking in there with all our chem gear.
Yeah.
So all you have is the noise of people jumping in these fucking things and throwing bags up in the air trying to find theirs. So I jump in and I find my fucking bag, and there's E9s, who I won't name, that are saying, "Oh, helmets and web gear, get your helmets and web gear on." And I'm like, it's Mop 4 condition black. Alarms are going off, like it's like incoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not helmets and web gear. Like, that's like put all your shit on and go find someplace to hide.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these guys are fucking idiots. They're like, they panicked and they're fucking just saying the wrong shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking around. I'm like, where's all the Desert Storm fucking vets? Because they know how to do this shit. They've done it before.
Right.
So I find those fucking guys, and I see them. They're over in the corner. It's like John Burrell and that team of people.
Mm-hmm.
I find them, like, they know what the fuck they're doing. They're putting all their shit on. So I go over there with them. We put all our shit on, and we wait hours till we get the all clear. And then we're in mop gear for, like, the next 3 days. Like, we were, like, in mop 2. So we had to carry every red ball. We had to fucking carry all that shit out to the jet, along with tools, because, it's deployed conditions, right? So, checking out the CTK and, like, it was such a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And, the moral of the story is, like, we didn't, like, they had Patriot missiles on station. Nothing got launched. Apparently it was it's a Scud missile. And it was one of Saddam, so it like had absolutely like it was apparently went so far off target and it launched, but apparently it was never a threat.
Yeah.
A true threat. But it happened, and we had the Patriots, and you never really think about it. It's all kind of we went through the thing and went home, and you don't really think about it.
Yeah.
You go about your business and it's like, yeah, okay, this is annoying. And what we do is we normalize it because that's what we have to do, right? It's going to be the same thing for those guys. It's going to be you normalize the alarm conditions, and you normalize the anti-aircraft fire that's going up in the sky, and the systems are working, and that's what they're going to do over there. And that's the type of shit that fucking after you get out of the Air Force 5 to 10 years later, and you're going to wake up in the middle of the night, like you're going to hear something that's you're going to think about it. And that's who I worry about. I worry about those guys because they're going to be like, it's just going to be a part of their life now that are over there. And we have these systems that are going to protect the base. Awesome. The percentages are well in our favor.
Oh yeah.
But it is something that you're going to have to normalize, and now that's part of it in this area of the world that we thought we were done with.
I know, right?
It's never over. It's never over.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. I have just keep keep everyone in your old thoughts and prayers there.
Yeah.
And
hope idiots in charge of countries don't escalate things further.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. We'll leave that there. But it's what's going on in the world right now, so I figured we'd better address it. All right. So getting into our actual weeks. For me, first off, I got new glasses. In fact, I got new glasses about 2.5 hours ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I
New
got
script too. Or
Oh yeah, yeah. So if I vomit all of a sudden or pass out, that's why, because of the because of my new glasses. Because it's taking some getting used to. The whole world is like warped right now. Like, whoa.
So a bifocal or
Yeah. Well, the progressive lenses.
right.
Yeah.
It is hard.
My penis is so smooth.
No, I know when I got these new frames,
Mhm.
like yours are, had a thinner frame.
Yeah.
And the ones you had before, I think, were thin frame like that.
Somewhat.
Not as thick as these were, I don't think. Maybe.
Nah.
I don't know. I'm not paying that much attention to your face.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Much like I'm not paying attention to your boxers.
It's two different things. I look at your face for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I hope. Hey now. You know what's bothering me right now?
What's that?
That light's blue. I'm gonna have to fix that.
Is that not the color that it normally?
No, it's usually white. Because I usually come in and I change it to white.
right. But
I plug it in and I turn it on and I change it to white.
I don't know. I think it looks good. How does it look on the camera?
I mean, it looks okay.
Kind of clashes with the rest of the room, though.
Yeah, it needs to be white.
All right. Well, Dave's going to do that. So, yeah, got my new glasses today. And, yeah, if I look weird, if I'm like squinting or looking extra strange, that's why.
Just don't throw up because I'm a sympathy puker.
My mom is too. She was the worst about it too. Like anytime any of us kids would like get sick and just start to throw up, she'd immediately be like,
Oh, God.
yeah. So, anywho, I have
Pleasant thought.
I have new additions to
The sacred Jedi.
Nailed it.
A week ago, maybe.
A week ago.
Kristen texts me and she's like, "Hey, I was on the Disney store and they've got these Black Series figures for sale right now." And I'm like, "Oh, come on."
You would think one would have these opened already.
You would think, but fuck you.
My penis is so smooth.
And as soon as I heard about it and knew what it was, I'm like, "Oh yeah, please get me that, possibly two," because this is from the Clone Wars, Clones of the Republic, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a clone trooper from the 212th. So yeah, Obi-Wan's in his Clone War armor that he wore in the animated show, and it's one of the troopers from his squadron.
He's looking very serious in this.
Oh yeah.
Look at him. Look at his face. Anakin, you disappoint me.
Yeah, so I'm going to open one of these and add them to the display.
The sacred Jedi.
I still need...
It's been a minute, so I might as well hit it twice.
Yeah, I still need a Cody and a Rex. So I should solve that problem
Yeah.
one of these days.
Yeah. What's the Black Series demand like these days? Like the market demand?
I mean, secondary stuff is still jacked up prices.
Really?
Yeah, because you get people fucking scalping essentially, like buying up pre-orders. The pre-orders sell out, and then they turn around and try to sell them for like triple the price that they paid for them.
Fuckers.
So that happens a lot, and yeah, it's still pretty much the same. They're still releasing Black Series figures like crazy. In fact, they announced another Ronin Black Series figure.
Shut the front door.
I'm pretty sure.
One that you could actually buy and is not a goddamn... Oh, hey, look. Finally open up my Ronin from Japan.
Yeah, I think
Oh, dude, I am so jealous, Chris. I am so jealous. Ugh,
Ronin from Japan, huh?
yeah.
Is it?
It was a Celebration exclusive.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
So, is it a statuette? Is it
No, I
Black
thought I
Series?
think it was a Black Series.
Okay? Yeah, that's right. Because it was the one that was in black and white, and it was him and the
Him and the droid.
yeah,
Yeah, and it was exclusive, and it was like, you motherfuckers.
yeah.
And I'm sure it's like insanely expensive on the secondary market.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Well, let's find out. Now they're having a Ronin single Black Series figure release, but he's in color, not the black and white.
What color?
His robe is black. His skin is Caucasian-y. His lightsaber's red.
Well, the lightsaber was red in the cartoon.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the name of the droid?
Fuck. B. B556.
B55. Okay. Surprisingly cheap. Like I see one right now, buy it now for $60.
Which I'm not going to buy.
Yeah, fuck,
Because
I might buy it.
My wife would kill me.
Oh, here's one for 60.
Didn't you just say 60?
Oh yeah, that was $59.99. This one's $59.84.
Whoa.
I know. So yeah,
Hey man, those pennies mean something because they're not printing pennies anymore.
they're not too expensive yet.
Interesting.
Probably should hop on that sooner than later. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about this week? Oh yeah, so I mentioned this last week. My middle son Adam had his graduation last Friday.
Yeah, how'd it go?
It was good. It was a good ceremony and everything, but it kind of put me in a weird fucking headspace, and not what you would think, about the whole getting old and everything. It's less about that and more about how I've been kind of beating myself up because I feel like I might not have prepared my kids well for life after high school. I feel like. So here's the deal. I'm a sheltered nerd, right?
Right.
That's what I am. And apparently nerds create nerds. And
Yeah.
and so, my kids are very socially awkward, at least my two youngest. Very socially awkward, especially Adam, comparing him to like those kids that were given the valedictorian speeches
Oh,
and
God.
all of them. These kids seem like they're like 100% with it. They
Yeah. But that's the abnormalities though. I mean, I have my own opinions on like the valedictorians.
yeah.
Like the ones that are like they're peaking in high school.
Oh, you think so?
Honestly, I really feel like they're the majority of them that they are
Yeah.
like that's their social contracts are kind of like used up.
right.
Honestly, by that point, because then when they get out into the real world, it's not as easy.
Yeah.
It's because think about it. Most of these kids, they're in their own neighborhoods. They know most of the people
Yeah.
that they grew up with. This isn't private school. They're not. There's not a bunch of kids shipped from other places.
Mm-hmm.
Like so the social construct is basically the same as it's been for years. So they're growing up in a system where even if they're moderately outgoing, then they could potentially thrive.
Yeah.
So it's not hard. It's not hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get out in the real world and just assume that everyone is going to treat them a certain way.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to fall the hardest because when the cold fucking hand of reality smacks them in the face the first time they really got to fucking get out there and really do something,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to ground them quickly, and not all those type of kids recover real well from that.
Right.
I'm not saying like in a tragic way. I'm just saying, like, in a surprising way. I mean, I've seen some of Jeff's classmates
Mm.
in that same kind of ilk, and people Jeff was friends with. They're like fast burners, and it looks like, oh man, these kids got the world by the balls, and then
It's nothing, huh?
no, it just So
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I'm just questioning everything that I did or didn't do at this point. Like, maybe I should have put them in more sports. Maybe I should have made them be more socially active in school.
yeah, I did all those things.
Yeah.
You can't. You'll get, so you're going to be there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was where you are, 100%. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Questioning all of the things, like, did I push too hard for this? Did I force, because my kids did all of this extra stuff, right?
Right.
Jeff he played sports and was involved with the DMLA stuff, and like I wanted to make sure that he had this like big, I don't know, realm of experience.
Yeah.
And he thrived. He thrived because of his personality, not because of anything that we were doing. Ultimately they have their own survival mechanism, and that's what they're going to thrive on.
Yeah.
More so, yes, you want to make they want to have opportunities for them to do whatever, but I mean, in reality, do I think that I questioned it, even with doing all those things, because he could have very easily just been like, come home, play video games, build shit on Minecraft for the next fucking 10 years,
Right.
and he would have been perfectly fine with that, I'm sure. Not going to fucking 2-a-days,
Mm-hmm.
playing football. So he finally got up the balls to tell dad that he didn't want to play football anymore. I mean, because that's really what happened.
Right.
But just take solace in the fact that I've been where you are, and I've questioned all of it. And the answer is, you can't change any of that.
No.
All you can do is continue to nurture his future.
Right.
Right? For all three of them. Wherever their direction takes them, you just continue to nurture it. And if there is some realization from anything, it's like, hey, if you need something from me to make this go forward, then let me know. Now that I have a little bit of self-awareness, maybe, all right, I was thinking about this. What do you think? Like, have that conversation.
Yeah.
And I'll probably say, like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, fine. Like, even if they don't respond, right? Even if there's no real back and forth about it, they're like, yeah, at least you put the seed in there, right? Because that's how teenagers are, man. Sometimes you're sending that penguin into their iceberg just so it's swimming around in there.
Yeah.
And then they have it, and they pay attention to that shit.
Okay.
They're not going to give you a lot of feedback about it, but
No, especially not my kids.
yeah, and it's going to be insanely frustrating. Ask Kathy. She would like, oh, God, just give me some feedback of anything that we're doing. No, nothing. No feedback at all. And it's the subtleties of it are, you just have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Don't isolate. Just be like, yeah, I'm here if you need me, and then that's it. That's all you can do.
And I feel like I've done that. I've told them all, like, hey, if you have something you want to go to college for, we'll help you get through college. If you want to go to a trade school, we'll put you through a trade school. But they're all just like, eh.
They'll get there.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. It's the world's a fucking crazy place right now.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
it kind of sucks for their generation.
yeah, I mean, not for nothing. I mean, hopefully they're not listening, but like, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, if you want to fucking hang out for, I don't know, 3 years and kind of see what happens, and then press the test with what life is going to look like in a few years,
Yeah.
that might be the answer. See what the economy's doing. What's take a year off, a sabbatical.
Yeah, that's what Adam was talking about too. He was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna take some time off. Maybe look for a job in February." I'm like, "Whoa, hang
Hey,
on."
wait. Yeah. Well, the good news is that Rob established a hey, you go out and work, and then you have money,
Yes.
and you can do things,
Yes.
that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that, right? And I'm sure they'll be like, yeah. If I get a job, I can earn money, and money will buy me goods and services. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah.
And then they'll figure that out, and then they'll start getting out.
Right. Well, I hope so, because I don't know. I worry about my kids all the time, and again, I'm constantly second guessing myself as to whether or not I did something right or wrong, and
Yeah.
I blame a lot of my own personal nature on that, because like I said, fucking isolated, nerdy person
Yeah.
that it
Oh,
just-
we are products of our experiences, right?
Mhm.
And
well,
we can only do what we had in us. There's no movie parents that we could put in front of hey, do all the perfect things, make
Mhm.
perfect kids, go.
right.
That's not a thing. You could do everything perfectly, and it's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's not life. Better to have adversity and I don't know. As long as I really believe with my kids, the only thing I really care about. This is going to sound really sappy or whatever, but the only thing I really care about in this world, besides Kathy, is our Jeff and Kate.
Yeah.
Everyone else, all other family members and everything else. I mean, I love you, Rick and my cousins and stuff like that. But if I had to choose,
Yeah.
between I'm going to go do this or I'm going to do something with my kids, even if it's for 5 minutes, I'm going to do that with my kids. At this stage of my life, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. If that means moving because my kids are going to move out of the area and I want to be able to be closer to them, then that's what I'm going to do. I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, Kathy and I are both in that place.
Yeah.
It's these, we're not. It's not to raise them or anything else, but it's to have a better relationship with them than I had with my parents.
Right.
Which
I feel like I've done that for sure.
Yeah, and I know I've certainly been trying,
Mhm.
but that's all you can do, honestly.
Yeah.
But know that it may not change how you feel about it, but introspectively, know that you're not alone in this feeling, especially this time of year, because there's a lot of parents are having the same feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm what 8 years removed from Kate graduating.
God, has it been that long?
I think so. I think 2017 is when she graduated.
Wow. Where'd the fucking time go?
Yeah. And she's, I'm just, yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks for the tips, and
You're welcome, sir.
and you are up for your week.
All I really did this week, it's been kind of crazy at work. But I have decided, I don't know if you know this about me, but I tend to take on too many things.
And here I was thinking you were going to actually say something I hadn't heard before, or that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I am aware of you.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
Yeah.
this may not come as a surprise.
Mm.
So I managed to get myself signed up for this course, right? This leadership course
Yes, that you signed up for.
that I signed up for.
Yes.
No, there's no reason. Because I still have SOS I got to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I got a semester looming right now
Mm-hmm.
of grad school. And I'm not bored. I didn't need another thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I did this to myself, and so I was like, fuck me, dude. We had Thursday and Friday off. And I on Thursday, because Kathy was working, I just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go down the shore, kind of disconnect, go down, take some pictures, or did like a little nature walk thing,
Yeah.
and just try and like just regroup a little bit. Because one of the things that I used to be able to do so well that I can't do here in my later stages of life for whatever reason
Mm-hmm.
is if I just sat there and just was like, okay, let's sit here at fucking ground speed 0 and just get my checklist in order so that I have a plan going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I just haven't been able to do it. And honestly, I think it's because I can't get to ground speed 0.
Right.
And
So
so
you always got something going on.
yeah. So I wrote a bunch of shit down. And the reality is I came up with a lot of ideas, but not a plan. So I'm still searching for that plan. But for the most part, I think what's going to happen is I'm gonna be doing school during the week, and then I'm leaving the weekends open because fuck it,
You need some leisure time.
yeah.
Like, without it, you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, but with that leisure time on the weekend, Kathy is going to put me to work.
Right.
That's what the weekend entailed, was getting put to work. And all for stuff around the house and things like that. It's all making everything better. But it's been tough to just get myself stabilized
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it's like, all right, I need that plan. Because right now, if I just try and like sit down, all right, I'm going to work on some homework.
Mm-hmm.
There's no suspense. Like I have like this open-ended window of it's got to be done in 3 years, right? It's like I don't know. I need time. Like tell me this has to be done by this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't give me this open-ended bullshit because I'm gonna procrastinate to the fucking very last minute.
Yeah. Then you'd be screaming as you're trying to get
Right. And but as Helmet Fire can attest to, we are very, very good at procrastinating.
Yeah.
It's like one of our best things. So that was having Juneteenth that day off. I spent it down the shore, and it was nice down there, and it really made me wish I could fucking hit the lottery and buy a shore house. I really would love to have a house where I can open a window and hear the ocean.
I don't know. There's some houses in Atlantic City I bet are pretty cheap.
Yeah, but you're not going to hear the ocean over the ambulances and gunshots.
True. In the ghetto.
In the ghetto. Which is really funny because in Atlantic City, there's that area of just like awful. But then 5 minutes of driving and you're in some of the nicest fucking area, like when you get to Margate and Longport and like on the same island.
Yeah.
And then you go to the other island, go past the Tropicana, and no, not Tropicana, but the Borgata.
Mm-hmm.
You go that way. That gnat's it's fucking attacking you.
I know. It's annoying.
When you go over the bridge and you go into Brigantine, like that's super nice.
Yeah.
So it's like bookended by all this like nice area, but that like little ghetto by the casino is just kind of runs it down.
Yeah.
Needs to gentrify the whole area. But anyway, I've been playing Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in fact is maybe a couple of 3 nights I've been turning it on.
Yeah.
And
Are we talking single player or multiplayer?
Multiplayer.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been no issues at all getting on a blast map.
Okay.
My ears ringing. Yeah, and you know what? The gameplay is fine.
Yeah.
I found myself in the blast maps like enjoy. Obviously, there's some maps that I enjoyed more than others. Like the crate map, you could take it. I really don't enjoy that, but like the maps that are like in the Death Star,
Yeah.
I like those maps. What you can be an Ewok, for one of the you know earn enough points so you can be one of the characters, the hero characters or whatever. So running around in the Death Star as an Ewok is pretty fun. But most of the people that are playing it right now, they're all like really fucking good at it.
Right.
And I'm not.
Yeah, I wasn't good at it before when we were playing. Like I could barely ever string together a handful of kills. And because I already felt like I was outmatched back then.
Yeah, and it's not worse. It's not like there's that they're cheating or anything. So it's not worse. And it's playable. It's the Star Wars game I want to play right now because I want to have that 15-minute game. You can't turn on Fallen Order or the follow-on game.
Yeah.
Whose name's escaping me right now.
Survivor.
Thank you. You can't turn that on and only play it for like 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
That's just no.
Yeah. Some bosses take
Yeah. If you're just
more
like
time than that.
playing the open map and flying between planets, by the time you get all that done, it's just it's not happening.
Yeah.
So just logging in and playing a couple of blast maps and logging out and going and doing something else, while I'm cooling off or letting my stupid toe, dude, fucking. So remember I was complaining about my toe?
Yes.
Last week.
Mm-hmm.
It's still awful.
Really?
Oh yeah. So I'm actually going to the doctor tomorrow.
Like worse?
It's not worse, but it's not getting better.
Okay.
So I got it X-rayed. Right. So I fucking went on Wednesday, and Wednesday. I went on Wednesday. Got it. I stopped at one of the urgent cares. Like fuck it. I'm tired of being uncomfortable. Like why is this not fixing itself? Like honestly, when you're so used to fucking being able to like do something like, all right, I slammed my fucking toe. It's probably broke. I'm going to buddy tape it. I'm going to ice it and it'll be fucking in a week. It'll be fine. Right. I've done this before. So my expectation was just that, but still swelling, still fucking painful, still like just like, it's like the size of my fucking, it's almost the size of my big toe. And I'm like, fuck me, dude. Why is this still fucking like this? So get the X-ray. It's like fractured, and like the bone is like riding on top of the other bone, which is why it's still swollen.
Yeah,
and why it hurts all the time. So I gotta fucking go see a specialist. So it's really fucking annoying because I can like walking. I can do it. I can do it whatever I want. It's just a matter of like how much my pain threshold gets, right, on top of all the normal stuff.
Yeah,
my pain cup is already pretty full, and then like, all right, let's throw this on top of it. Like, nah, I'm done for it.
Is it something that gets progressively worse, or is it just a constant?
There's a constant. It's like a constant 6, maybe 7, and then as I stand on it or walk on it, it goes like up through an 8 into a 9 sometimes.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and no, it was enough for me to fucking actually go and get a goddamn X-ray on it.
Mm-hmm.
On a fucking toe. The fuck. 27-year-old me is like really disappointed in myself.
Yeah. Well, hey, toes need love too.
Well, yeah, if you're into that sort of thing.
Which I'll never understand.
I don't know either.
I'd love to talk to a feet guy, and just be like, why? Why the feet?
Didn't Chantal from Pop My Culture, isn't she a feet person? Didn't she say that when she came up for the anniversary show?
Not that I remember.
Wasn't that a topic of conversation? I swear I thought that was.
Might have been.
I could be hallucinating that. Lunar Girl, help us out. Am I crazy? Am I hallucinating that? Or maybe that was just something that got kicked around in the escape pod. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we managed to kill an hour.
Yes, we did.
So anybody who's tuned in to listen about pyramids, if you're still listening, I think we should start talking about pyramids.
All right.
Pyramids in fucking Easter Island.
All right. So do you need a break or anything before we go?
I'm going to get up and I'm going to go into our refrigerator.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get myself Diet Coke.
Okay.
Do you need anything?
I
think
actually, yeah. Grab me a Dr. Thunder.
Yes. And I think we should take this time to thank friend of the podcast, Patreon supporter, and donator of said, I was about to say microwave, but the exact opposite of that, the refrigerator of fucking justice, Helmet Fire. He so graciously made the donation for us to have a refrigerator finally after fucking 7+ years of us saying we need a refrigerator in here. And now we finally have one when we're not drinking.
Right.
But we got Diet Dr. Thunder and Diet Cokes.
Yep. So Dave's going to get one right now. So I'll give a little background as to why this subject kind of came up. I have been fascinated lately with the idea of early humans. Now, if you're a religious person, yeah, there's probably going to be some contradictions to what we believe and perceive, but I'm just going with what the scientists say. And these the idea of early humans has just fascinated me recently, and I don't know why. I don't know what started it, but from our origins, maybe it's because I was really getting into evolution for a while, like
right.
How we evolved, and then from there it's like, okay, well then once we became these upright monkeys, how did we get to be where we are today? And that's the spreading of humans out of Africa into Europe and Asia and all of that, and just I find that shit so fascinating.
Did you get a chance? Have you been to Ethiopia?
No.
Look, we've been our previous employment, we were so lucky to see some of the places in the world that we got to see. And I'll talk about that more when we talk about the pyramids. For sure, but I got to see Lucy. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say Lucy?
No.
Google it. Bring it up for the people.
Is that a chicken head?
No, Lucy first.
What is
first,
a Lucy?
First human.
Oh, is that the person that they took everybody's DNA and they
No.
kind of tracked it down to this one person?
No.
No? All right. Lucy.
Put Lucy, Ethiopia.
Oldest human. Lucy, a remarkably well-preserved 3.2 million year old fossil skeleton was discovered in Hadar, Ethiopia in 1974.
94.
Yeah, so I got to, in one of the times I was in Ethiopia, I got to see it.
Yeah.
I got to see her. And listen, You didn't. When I said it to you, you didn't know. So, is there a picture? Like, can we put a picture up on the screen?
Of the skeleton?
Yeah. Since we're talking about early humans, it's probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it bigger.
That's what she said.
Penis so smooth.
All right, it's a side view is the best look I can get at it. Now there's got to be something better.
Yeah, well, you're doing that. So, it was quite the adventure getting to see Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
I was there with Mike Glover actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mike Glover is African American, and when we were going through customs, one of the people was like, "Oh, hey, are you? It's just where you're from," and he's like, "I don't think so." And apparently, like he looked like he was from like that, like literally that area, like
Really?
Eritrea, Ethiopia area.
Huh.
And it was like for him, it was just like this really weird, like, oh wow, like just this moment, an ancestral moment for an African American, which was actually kind of neat to kind of be a part of.
All right, I'm
but-
sharing my screen.
But so we hiked in Addis. I always mispronounce this, but Addis Ababa in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And we hiked from the hotel, went around this big circle, found the place, and that's an interesting view of it.
Yeah, it's my best option.
So
I can't make it bigger.
My penis so smooth.
So standing, that actually was pretty neat. So when we got into the museum, like it was so many ducats or whatever it was to get in. So we get in, and it's kind of like it's not. There was a lot of really neat shit in that museum.
Yeah.
And it was displayed pretty cool, but it wasn't like the museum in Cairo, which I'll talk about in when we talk about the pyramids.
Yeah.
And so it was impressive because of the stuff that was there, but the structure itself wasn't that impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And to get to Lucy, which was really the only reason we were there, it was going through this like maze. Have you ever been to the Franklin Institute?
Of course.
If you go to the Franklin Institute and you're like, oh, hey, I want to go to the I don't know.
The heart.
Yeah, but the heart's on like the main level. But like if you go downstairs, like, oh, I want to go see the train, right? And you have to like, okay, you're going into this stairwell, go down 3 floors into the stairwell, then you kind of go and follow this hallway, go down this way, around the planetarium, and do whatever. So it was kind of a maze like that. It was like, okay, you go down this, then you have to go all the way across, then go down, you go all the way across, and you kind of go zip, 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 and it was kind of like going through a cubicle farm. And then finally you get to Lucy, and it was on. I shit you not, dude. It seemed like it was a fucking folding Costco card table, and it was just a table like this with a display case, and she was spread out on this display case.
Did she have things
with
like
a poster next to it, and that was it. That was the entire fucking thing, and it was like it was the most unremarkable way to display this thing. Like the picture you just showed with her standing like that, was like, wow, look at that. No, not this. It was like, what or why? Really? So it was like, wow, kind of underwhelming. Still cool. Lots of other cool shit in this place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
and just the idea that this is a 3.2 million year old person is just completely mind blowing to me. To think that humans were around in some form.
So small. It's like it's not human sized. Like if you think about it, it's like it's probably about yay.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, about yay tall.
Mm-hmm.
What, like this table, like this.
Yeah.
with the bones stretched out. So, but you know, evolutionary wise, you can like you said, it was like, wow, man, this is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. And that's the kind of shit I've been fascinated with. It like the oldest known structure. I was just looking into this that we found that was human made was in Zambia going back 476,000 years, and it's like a wooden structure that they use. They kind of carved the woods to make notches, so they would go together to make this whatever house or whatever it was.
No shit.
Yeah, so just it showed that they had this kind of, you know, architectural thought back then.
Like, how did they make the notches?
Probably carved them with something with the rock or
Wow.
but yeah, this shit's so fascinating. And the pyramids obviously is one of the great, you know, human achievements, but it's also such a mystery because of how long ago it happened or allegedly happened versus, you know, modern
Right.
humans.
So you want to do pyramids first?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah. Let's talk about them. So, and I know you've been there.
I have.
So
been there.
you've got your own perspective as to. Oh, hello.
These aren't all these rocks aren't the pyramid, but this
Mm-hmm.
this is a part of. This is the. God, I'm going to mispronounce it. Khafra. On the ticket, it calls it the second pyramid.
Yeah.
So this is the one when you're looking. So when you're looking at the pyramids of Giza, the second one that has like the limestone still at the top.
Mm-hmm.
It's looks like it's taller, but it's actually because it's on a little bit of a plateau.
Right.
It's not as big as the
the Great Pyramid.
Great Pyramid of
Yeah.
Khufu.
Yeah.
And this
So-
is Khafra is the name of the second
And
pyramid.
so you're telling me that this rock came from?
That is a piece of the exterior of this pyramid
Okay.
that
Now,
I went into when I was there.
so did you just happen to scoop it up?
I just picked it up.
Yeah.
Listen, all right. So here's the thing. Let me demystify the experience of going to see the pyramids real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So here's like somebody who wants to look at it closer. See it closer. This shit, by the way, is fucking phenomenal when your kids are in school.
Oh yeah.
Like bringing shit like this. Like I had the globe. I had a globe that had pins in it, so that you could just kind of spin it. You could see where I went.
Yeah.
And like I had shit like this on display on the table.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes you hugely popular. We got there, and I was there with John Lenning, right? Yeah, it was John Lenning, Bob Kelly. I'm saying these names because I know they don't listen to the podcast.
Whereas our actual listeners are like, "Who the fuck are these people?"
Right,
they're
exactly.
talking about?
Jason knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, we get there, and we weren't staying in on that side of Cairo. We were actually staying on the other side of Cairo.
Okay.
And so we got a tour. We had just enough time off that particular day before we were flying the next day. So we got the tour bus with a bunch of other people. It was a big bus. Go across the city, and you get the. Cairo is a very, very. It's a big city. Like
Yeah.
it is highly congested.
Yeah, I've flown through it. Landed there, never stayed overnight or anything though.
Yeah. So when it is a big Middle Eastern city, and as you're kind of coming over to crest, and when you see the pyramids for the first time, and they're kind of, it's hard to. You're in this environment of like this rural environment.
Mm-hmm.
Rural? Is that the right word?
Rural, is it?
which one's the city one?
That's urban, right?
Urban environment. Yes, urban.
Yeah.
Urban. You're in this urban environment. Fuck me. You're in this urban environment, and as you're like moving towards, and you see the pyramids kind of off on the horizon, and there's just like desert on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Like it's tough to be like, is that really there? Like it seems so out of place.
Right.
And the movies would have you think, depending on which movie, like if you're watching Transformers or something, like it makes you think that the pyramids are just out in the middle of the desert by themselves, right? Which is not the case,
Right, because
all.
if you look at any overhead pictures that have the city in it, you can see like the pyramids here, and then right there is the big ass city.
And you know what? I'll have to bring it up maybe when you get a chance if you take over while you're describing some of the dimensions, maybe of the pyramids. Khufu in particular, there's a picture of me. In fact, this is my Instagram profile picture, I think, right now, and I'm standing there with the Sphinx in the background, with you got the Khafre pyramid behind it, and I'm wearing sunglasses, and literally I'm standing on the street with a Kentucky Fried Chicken in front of me. It's like one of those Pizza Hut KFC fucking combinations.
Yeah.
It's right in front. I'm like looking at it. And it's the strangest fucking thing. Like, yeah, there's a KFC. And behind me is, these things are 3,000 years old.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
So you say 3,000 years, but I think at least the Great Pyramid is 4,600 years old, allegedly. Now, there's a lot of debate, too, as to whether or not it's that old or possibly even older. If you watch some of these guys, there's a guy that goes on Rogan all the time. That he thinks that it's 12,000 years old based on other research and things that have been done.
Okay.
But yeah, it's well believed that it's 4,600 years old, but not everybody sees it that way.
So, talking specifically about the first one, like about Khufu, and he thinks it's 12,000 years old.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's an interesting take on that.
Yeah, this guy's name is Graham something.
Graham Cracker, full of shit.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, the Great Pyramid, right?
Yeah. Because that's the one, that's the big one. That's the one that, there's still debate today as to how the hell this fucking thing was built.
Yeah, and so go through some of your notes that you have, and then I have some stuff that I'm going to build on top of that.
Okay.
I saw you had some stuff written down.
Yeah, so just to give people an idea, and this is something I wanted to ask you about. 450 feet tall, which is about the equivalent of a 33-story building. Now, did you go to the base of Giza or of the Great Pyramid or Khufu?
Yes. Well, yeah. In fact, there's a picture of me standing with it behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did that look to you being on the ground right there, looking up to this pyramid? Did it seem massive?
Yeah. I mean, it's imposing. The best thing I can equate it to is if you've been to there's nothing in Washington D.C. or anything like that that's the sheer size of it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're going to like the Capitol building or the Lincoln Memorial,
yeah,
right, and you just like, all right, there's this giant structure made of stone in front of me,
yeah,
and it has like a weight to it that it just imposes itself on you, and. Yeah. What's ironic is that you think when you're a little bit away from it, they're like, oh, it's like steps. I bet you I could walk up that. But when you really walk up on it, you realize that those stones are very tall.
Yeah.
Like it is a way bigger than you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to say it, but then I got distracted. So when we got there to get on the tour, after telling, don't take the camel ride. By the way, it's they're going to talk you into and riding a camel. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't. I'm telling you. there's no like bathroom facility.
Right.
And so JL went over to one of the security people and said, "Hey, I need to take a leak. Where's the bathroom?" And they're like, "Go ahead." And they're pointing to the base of the pyramid. This is the coffer pyramid, the one we ended up going into.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where? Like there?" They're like, "Yeah, right there." Like, so somewhere out there is a picture of our DO at the time standing there peeing on the fucking pyramids.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucking classic. But they told him to do it. Like, what else you gonna do? It's like it's their shit.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Had to fucking go.
So yeah, 454 feet tall, 2.3 million blocks of material were made or were used in the construction of this thing, weighing on an average of 2.5 tons each. So the overall weight, the total weight is estimated to be 5.75 million tons of all of the building material in Khufu.
Like I said, it has its own gravitational pull almost. It's like you feel it when you're standing there.
Yeah, and the big debate is, how did they make it? Who made it? And I think it's relatively agreed on that it was just it was Egyptian workers, not necessarily slaves, who built that. Because I know that for the longest time there was a theory that it was enslaved people that built the pyramids, whereas most archaeologists and those types think that it was more of a community type thing.
Well, I think that there's probably a little column A, a little column B.
Right.
I mean, it's in their best interest to highlight the fact that it's like there's the people of Egypt were involved in building this more so than slave labor.
Right.
It's a narrative that you want to be out there more so than obviously the slave narrative.
Right.
But the one thing, here it is. And one thing I will say is lost my train of thought. So the building of it, right?
Yeah, that's the part that most people find the most interesting.
It is, dude. It is definitely. It's fucking impressive. But it doesn't seem impossible.
Right.
And I read. I think we talked about it before, but I've read like the Zachariah Stitchin books, and we talked about Jimmy getting us into that.
Yeah.
And so based on some of the stuff that he was saying with the ancient aliens and things like that, there were some concepts that I was like, oh man, this is kind of what I'm expecting going there. But based on where it was, and even with the second pyramid, with the coffer pyramid, like where that was in relationship to where the Sphinx and then the docks, because there's like a remnant of the waterway where the Nile
was coming in. Yeah.
And that gave it way more legitimacy. As like, okay, like if they're floating these stones down river, getting to here, and then they're building the ramps in order to do this. All you need is fucking, at that point it's an amazing feat of figuring out the physics.
Right.
Thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
You
and that's the thing. The people who built this thing, the architects, had to have been so fucking smart. And
oh, dude, for sure, they had a knowledge of not only the math to be able to do this, because there's a level of precision that, again, it's the level of precision of the pyramids that is what make people believe that it can't possibly be, an ancient human
Right.
that does this. When again, when you're there, as awe-inspiring as it is, it you can tell it has like it just if it doesn't feel like it's so otherworldly that a human couldn't have done it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just, and this is just Dave Martin's opinion from being there, right? I went into it with like kind of like this leaning into like, man, I'm gonna like be mystified. And I went in there like I was definitely amazed and awe-inspired, but I wasn't like, oh, humans couldn't have done this.
Right.
But those humans had such a precise knowledge of being able to read the stars, being able to do some, algebraic level shit to be able to make things level. Because, like you said, you're how many tons of material?
5.75 million tons
Right.
of material
on a level surface.
Yeah.
Right, because this thing hasn't shifted in 4,000 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's out on the desert on this plateau, and it hasn't moved.
Right.
It hasn't crumbled on any one side. So it's like, okay, what the sheer amount of material built on top of this, and knowing that it would support that weight, and building a structure that can go on top of that and support that weight. It's just that it's a remarkable thing.
Oh yeah.
It really is.
And just the idea. So you are more of the theory how they use the waterways to get the
and again, this is my impression from being there. Is that the waterway, I'm going to get this picture. I wish I had more pictures, and I apologize for not having more pictures. But yeah, because of where the location of the waterway is, and look, there's a million documentaries out there on the waterways and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, stop moving the screen around, Dave. You're distracting Jason. I'm going to.
So however they got the blocks down there. So they still had to move these massive fucking 2-ton blocks into perfect alignment.
Yep.
Because, you screw up one little part, especially towards the base of the thing, then the rest of the pyramid is fucked. So every block had to be perfectly aligned. They all fit with each other. They weren't necessarily, they didn't have notches like in them, but they kind of did. The way they pushed the blocks together, they fit together really well, because they had to be damn near perfect so that the whole rest of the structure could come up. And you think about how they transported these blocks, you'd think it's the waterways. I could see that. I wouldn't disagree with that, but I know there's a lot of other theories too about how they just dragged them over like mud or sand, or logs.
I think the Nile being, here's the other thing that I really didn't think about until I was there, was how wide the Nile actually is.
Yeah.
Like the Nile River Valley is underneath that entire complex. So what you see of the Nile is not the entire river. Like the river is underneath the, under it, the desert, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not seeing the entirety of how much water is in that area. So that whole, so much fertile land comes from the Nile because it has so much water going underneath that you can't see.
Right.
So not realizing that, and then getting into like a wet season where the Nile floods to a certain particular point. If you use that to your advantage, then you're going to be able to get a lot more done. Like you're going to be able to take advantage of that water or the mud or whatever.
Yeah.
And that distinct possibility is there because of the location.
Now, the thing that I find more impressive than the base is how they started building up and up and up, and how they got those blocks all the way up towards the top, because you can't just throw up some fucking scaffolding and be like, all right, we'll just have them lift the thing up there, because they have whatever ramp or whatever it is that they built had to support the weight of all of these fucking
Right.
blocks, had to get them up there to where they could, again, precisely roll them onto the blocks before.
Yeah, get in a position. And oh, by the way, this isn't a hollow structure.
Right.
Like this is solid, and the exterior blocks that you're looking at aren't. There's bigger blocks inside.
Yeah.
So like when you go inside, it almost. Let me talk about going inside.
Okay.
So I didn't go inside the Great Pyramid,
Mhm.
right? I went inside Khafra, the smaller pyramid, the second one. At the time, they weren't letting anybody in the Great Pyramid.
Okay.
I want to say that the tour guide had mentioned that there was they had found something inside. So
Mhm.
at that point, it was a like a tomb.
Yeah.
So only the Egyptians were allowed to be in there.
Mm.
Which totally, that's your thing.
Yeah.
But I got my picture in front of it anyway. When you go inside, we actually went using a smuggler's tunnel.
Okay.
So you kind of like they have like a little stair thing built on the outside. You kind of go up that, and you go into this like intercept tunnel. That's the smuggler's tunnel, and you're like crawling in there. Like it's not. There's no like it's not handicap accessible. Like you're not low crawling, but you're on your hands and knees at a lot of points, like getting in there. Now this was my experience. Apparently, I watched a thing on the Disney Channel or Disney Plus, or one of the Nat Geo ones, and they were, I guess, going into the main pyramid, and the entry tunnels were like they were smooth, like people were getting in and out of them. Like, where the fuck were these tunnels when I was going through? Because it was like, I'm gonna put my hand on this fucking pointy ass rock type thing going in there. It seemed like the smugglers were just in there. The grave robbers were just in there. So you do that for a while, and you can kind of stop partway through because you get into one of the exhaust vents, so you can kind of see up through it and see sky, basically, which is it's just fucking fascinating again, because you're like, it doesn't look like it was cut. They didn't like bore into the thing. It was, they lined this up so that you could see this ventilation shaft. Is like, okay, well, as we're designing this, we're going to need to get air down there.
Yeah.
So we're designing it with this shaft, and it looked like that. It looked like that was like, oh my god, this fucking thing.
Yeah, just a very deliberate design.
Yeah. So that was pretty fucking cool. And so you get into this main chamber, and what struck me about this main chamber was its lack of ornament. There was no ornamentation on the walls. There was no like hieroglyph.
Right.
I was expecting something more like to be. It was.
It's my understanding that all of the pyramids there are pretty stale, I guess.
Yeah,
when it comes to what's on the walls.
Yeah, and I was like, the space was fairly large. Excuse me. Yeah, I guess they let you in bunches. So like where the sarcophagus was, they had an empty vessel there. There was no like sarcophagus in it. But it was giant. I mean, it was massive. And you could look inside there. But I spent more time like on the walls.
Yeah.
Just looking at the walls. One of the things that Stitchin talked about with the theory for the pyramids was the fact that they were like transmitters, right? So this one of the ancient theories is that okay, you have these pyramids were built and they are aligned a certain way, right?
Well, yeah, because they align to the directions. Like
Right.
they're perfectly lined up with like true north and south, east, west.
Right. And so they're aligned with the cardinal points,
Yeah, I think they said that there's like a 1 degree difference, but again, think about
yeah, I'm trying to think of the proximity to the equator and like where any magnetic variation would be, but
Mhm.
if you're thinking from a astrological standpoint, and then where the pyramids were built and in concert to the Orion's belt.
Right. Yeah, I was
as
seeing
they,
that.
as they line up.
Yeah, and what's funny too is like if you look at it now, it's slightly off from the perfect shape of Orion's belt, but they did computer simulations and they rolled back the stars
Right.
to 2600 BC when this thing was built, and it was in perfect alignment with
Right. So that shit to me is plausible.
Yeah.
100%. Now the radio transmitter part, which is like I was in there thinking, one of the things that Stitchin had said was that the temperature inside the pyramid was kept at it was a steady temperature.
Mhm.
And it was so you built this structure in the middle of the desert that kept a temperature of like 70 degrees or something. I forget what I think he said it in Celsius, but I want to say it was like 70 degrees.
Mhm.
And so you're in the middle of the fucking 110-degree desert,
Yeah.
and inside here it's 70 degrees,
Right.
and it was a like not humidity dripping off the walls. It was like this is like if you were going to have equipment running in that room, like it was a server room,
Mhm.
you could do it.
Right.
Because it was maintaining that steady temperature even with a bunch of people in there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of crazy. Like that part of it, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy
Mhm.
to think about. Now, even thinking through it right now, you're putting a body in there, right? So you probably want it to stay at a reasonable temperature.
Right.
Like
as opposed to decomposing in the 110 degree heat.
And God only knows what else was put in there, right? Because we know from King Tut's find in the Valley of the Kings how much stuff was in he was basically buried with.
Yeah.
It could have very well been the same with Khufu.
Yeah. Which I think that's the overwhelming theory right now is that he was buried with a lot of treasure.
Right. But all that shit
whatnot.
was fucking robbed.
Yeah.
But yeah, what really struck me about being inside that pyramid was the temperature, the steadiness of the temperature, how nice and cool it was, and the plainness of the walls.
Yeah.
It was like just as I can picture the color in my mind, and it's like the gray of that border on the picture behind you.
Okay.
Like that, it just seemed like everything was that gray, and it just had just a little, like it was smooth, but like just a little bit of rock,
Yeah.
feeling to it. And that's all I did was I, like a crazy person, was just like walking and feeling the walls and just like staring, trying to take it in, and trying to see if like something moved, right? Like, oh, am I in a gravity well right now? Like, what's happening? Like, but nothing else happened. It was like, okay, exit stage right, and we went out another tunnel to get out the other side. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was in the moment. It was just like, wow, that was pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's get in the bus. Go fucking go drive by the Sphinx, and get molested by a bunch of vendors as we go to the Pizza Hut, KFC. But yeah, it was. If there's one place I'd like to go back that I've been to before, like take Kathy to, I would go back there.
To Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Cairo specifically. And the right now there's 2030 they're doing a like I guess they're doing like a rebuild Cairo, or they're revamping their whole like tourism thing. So there's like going to be a new visitor center. The other thing not related necessarily to the pyramid and the remarkableness, like how remarkable the pyramids are,
Yeah.
is the museum. So the museum in Cairo will fucking knock your socks off.
I bet.
When I went in there, because we did the pyramid, then we went in the downtown area, and that's where the museum was. And when we went through the front doors, and you kind of go into this like open area, and there are these obelisks that are, I don't know, they're like as tall as the solid rocket boosters, and they're just in this great hall of all this just all the shit that you would imagine. Like, have you seen fucking shit, the thing with Moses,
Ten Commandments?
Ten Commandments.
Yeah, it's been a while, but
Right. Like how they represent Egypt with all the shit, like all the statues and everything.
yeah.
It's like that,
Okay.
but bigger
Wow.
and like more impressive.
Damn.
The big, like solid black fucking 50-foot tall, statues with the dog thing.
Yeah.
Which has a name and I can't remember it, and I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
But you're immediately like you're frozen, like when you walk in there, you're like, oh, what the fuck? And I mean, this is before camera phones, right? Like it's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah.
Obviously, look at the skinny guy in that fucking picture. But when you're going through that museum and you're seeing all these antiquities, like you get a larger impression of how complex this civilization was.
Right.
Even more so than the pyramids themselves, was what they were actually like able to make, how they actually lived, and how they took advantage of like the Nile.
Yeah.
And built this civilization around that. Built the civilization to the point where they could have generations of Egyptians that were building these structures that would last into antiquity.
Yeah.
You have one of the original 7 wonders of the world, right? It's still standing. I think one of the notes I saw was, I thought was funny. The Great Pyramid was the tallest structure on Earth, a man-made structure on Earth for like thousands of years.
Yeah, I think until like the Eiffel Tower, I want to say.
That might be right. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it is. It's fucking massive, but it goes to show that they, to me, even with like reading Stitchin' and all this ancient alien stuff and everything else, what I took away from being there was that this is what humans can do when given time and having the ingenuity.
Yeah.
We can do pretty much anything.
Right. And the fact that this was done, again, almost 5,000 years ago is fucking incredible to me, that, we had such a complex society back then, and like a lot of super fucking smart people. Like, these builders had to have been mathematical geniuses. They knew the fucking stars in and out. They, they were pretty impressive.
I will say that one of the biggest things that was in that museum that I had seen, they had King Tut's like the not the headdress, but the part of his sarcophagus, not the sarcophagus, basically the headdress,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. They had the headdress on display at the University of Penn that I saw when I was a kid. Like we were there on a school trip.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bunch of Egypt stuff, and Penn actually has a decent Egyptian display at the time.
Yeah.
So I saw like that then, and it always kind of intrigued me. And so when I got to the museum in Cairo, they had so much other shit from Tut's, from his tomb.
Yeah.
And they had what the sarcophagus was inside was almost like a nesting doll of other boxes. It was like, so it was a giant box that had all this ornate drawings and shit on the outside of it, and then inside that box was another box.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had all these boxes kind of like, here's this one, here's that one, here's that one. They kind of had them in a row.
Right.
So you could
Is
see
it like those the little popple
Right.
things? The
yeah, like a Russian nesting doll.
yeah.
And you finally got down to the actual like sarcophagus, and you could see just how detailed and ornate this thing was.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at, you want to talk about how complex the society was and how old. There, something smaller, like something this size, right?
Mm.
We look at the lettering on this and we say, okay, the word paper made on this is like that. Yeah, that's pretty small.
Yeah. So small.
It's just me.
My penis so smooth.
Right. There was detail work that was smaller than this on objects that were like arrows, like golden arrows that were like this,
Wow.
that had detail work that was even smaller than that. And there was like dozens of those arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And in gold. Like,
Wow.
so, and gold at the time was way more prolific than anything else. Like iron for them was not a thing.
Right.
Like, at the time frames we're talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, if you watch the documentary it's on Disney Plus, on Nat Geo, talking about King Tut specifically, they talk about a dagger that Tut had on his body,
Mm-hmm.
like in the sarcophagus with him,
Yeah.
and that dagger is actually made out of a meteorite.
Get the fuck out.
I shit you not.
Nice.
Because they dated it, like they did the X-ray, and they dated it, and the iron that it's made of, that was not found in Egypt.
Right.
Like there would have been no way. Like they melted it down and they made it into this dagger, but that metal was not found anywhere else. So it was like basically this otherworldly fucking dagger.
Yeah. Yeah.
That apparently was in that fucking museum, and I don't remember seeing it because it was just like kind of on the corner, just like, oh look, here's a knife,
Mm-hmm.
and it just, there's so much shit in there you just can't even think about it. And they built a brand new museum. It was supposed to open actually this summer, but I think they pushed it off until the winter of this year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a multi-billion-dollar facility, and they're going to have all the King Tut stuff out.
Nice.
Everything that they found in the tomb,
Mm-hmm.
like stuff that has never been seen by the public before. Is
Oh,
be
no
out.
shit.
Yeah, like so much shit, dude. Watch that thing on Disney Plus, the King Tut thing. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But yeah, and we're talking about this. This is a civilization thousands of years old that has a level of complexity that just is, it's really difficult to wrap your brain around.
Mm-hmm.
And the works of it are at a scale that just is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like the size of the pyramids, the size of these obelisks, and everything else. It's just like, we're going to talk about it too with Easter Island, like the sizes of these things. Like, how the fuck do you make something that big with, hand tools, and fucking, using some, block and tackle fucking shit,
Yeah.
The very basic physics to be able to move shit around without knowing it's the physics that you're using.
Right.
You know it works, so we're just gonna do it.
Mm.
And they fucking make it work, and they make something that lasts in perpetuity.
Yeah. It's crazy. And again, humans almost 5,000 years ago were able to do this. And granted, we've done some pretty amazing things as modern humans, but you think about these thousands of years ago where I have this vision in my head where we were like fucking cavemen still in Europe and not really that was weird. Not really doing a whole lot, but we actually were quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Creating these massive societies and these just unbelievable structures.
Yeah. You have anything else you want to ask me about with the pyramids?
Oh God, I'm trying to think. Nothing that's coming to mind.
Anything from the audience, the studio audience? Yeah, the I can tell you too that the tour guide, we brought up like a couple of things from the Stitchin' book, and he kind of laughed it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right. Well, why don't you let's go into some of the detail of that, because
okay.
You've mentioned it a couple of times, and what exactly was the point he was trying to make there?
So, all right. So, Zachariah Stitchin wrote this book called The 12th Planet, and I have some notes on this, and I just need to open them real quick.
Okay.
I took notes. Can you believe it? So Stitchin, his thing, he was not a Egyptologist. That was not his field. He was actually, I want to say an insurance salesman, but that's not accurate either. Oh, I don't care about muons. Hang on a second. This is why I don't take notes, because they fucking disappear on me. Anyway, so Stitchin writes all this stuff about ancient aliens and basically says that these beings from the planet that populated planet Earth, basically almost like an experiment. It's like, okay, here's these humanoids. We're gonna plant some of our seed here,
sprinkle some crack on the earth,
right? And then we're gonna leave some people here, and those people are represented. Like if you look at the, he uses a lot of the Sumerian, Sumerian text. Like he's reading the Sumerian. Like, all right, and we learned from fucking what, middle school, that Sumerians are like the first civilization that we have writings for, right?
Yeah.
And he's saying that, and the way he reads that text, is that there's these ancient astronauts that populate. They call that the Anukai. Or Anukai. Go with that. From a planet called Nibiru.
Oh.
He was Stitchin, self-taught Sumerian cuneiform and ancient Middle Eastern language. He has a degree in economic history.
Odd.
Yeah. He worked as a journalist and executive for a shipping company before he started writing these books. Not to say that like you can't have a hobby like this and get super knowledgeable in it, but
sure.
When you're writing crazy shit, I think you want to at least have a fucking PhD to back it up. I at least that's how I would think. But regardless of that, he basically Oh no, that's a different thing. Never mind. I realized why the notes skewed off. No, so his thing was he's the one that says the pyramids were used as like transmitters. These ancient aliens, like Nibiru, comes around. The way the orbit is, these aliens can only show up like every I think it's 11,000 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the way that the rotation of the orbit of this planet.
Sure.
So, and then once they get close enough, then they kind of go back and forth between the planets. And he, in his reading of the hieroglyphs and the Sumerian, when you look at certain things, it's like, okay, this is obviously a spaceship. Like, and they'll look at certain things like, okay, that's a spaceship. This guy's obviously an astronaut. This person has wings. Like, and honestly, I read that book with I'm open to hear anything anybody has to say on the subject.
Sure.
Because I can't, who am I to disprove it?
Right.
Right.
And even modern day scientists still don't know all the answers.
Do I think the guy's a little, how you say, crazy? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I think he kind of, there's interesting theory there.
Yeah.
That makes for a fascinating story.
Mm.
Is it plausible? Only in the most minute sense of it.
Mm.
If you can imagine, so technology jumps, right? So we have the Egyptians that suddenly can master this level of math, understand astronomy, build transmitter towers basically, and line things up with Orion so that when these ancient astronauts are coming in, they're like, oh, hey, there's our fucking landing point.
Mm.
There's Orion's belt. They come in and they'll land. And it's not just in that area. There's like a whole bunch of other spots.
Right. And we haven't even talked about the South American.
No, not yet. And Stitchin gets into that also. But so that's what the pyramids were, according to Stitchin, is like, okay, it's a beacon, basically. It's your landing beacon, your ILS for the ancient aliens to be able to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And they would come in and they'd fucking, they'd have affairs with the humans, and which would create humans like Jesus. The humans that would seem to have other powers outside of this world, and things like that. So, yeah, I would look as somebody who's just, if you're interested in just having a particular viewpoint, read the 12th Planet, because I think it's entertaining.
Yeah, I'm sure he makes a compelling argument too.
Sure, he absolutely does. Yeah. But you don't take it for fact,
of course. Yeah, I don't believe aliens had anything to do with the construction of this.
No, and whatever doubts I had, I shit can those doubts by being there.
Yeah.
And standing there with it. Yes, it's a fucking unbelievable, and it was an enormous undertaking for a human being.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely felt like humans did it.
Okay.
So, yeah. So Stitchin's kind of full of crap, but it does make a compelling argument. It does make for an interesting read.
Yeah.
For the 12th Planet, and he wrote a shit ton of books after that. But honestly, the 12th Planet is probably the only one that I would say is a good read as far as being entertaining.
Okay. Well, shit. So we're at a weird spot right now, where we've only really got 20 minutes left. I guess we could do a real quick and dirty Easter Island, or save that for later and just freestyle until the end.
I got nothing for Easter Island.
Okay.
We could save Easter Island for the next time.
All right. Yeah, let's do that. And
I would I've got a box here full of.
What's in the box?
I've got a box full of rocks from different places that we could probably have interesting conversations about.
Yeah.
Angkor Wat, the Temple of Athene in Rhodes. I got pieces of ruins of Carthage in here. I got some granite from a Roman bathhouse in Tunisia.
Nice.
Got a piece of the Parthenon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was just kind of like I took a risk. It could have been a Brady Bunch thing where I picked a piece of this and had this talisman, and it brought me all this bad luck.
Right.
But so far, so good. Knock on wood. But yeah, I have been extremely fortunate in my Air Force life to be able to do this, and with all the shit going on in the Middle East, and I alluded to it a little bit, but Cairo 2030, if I was going to go back, I'd probably be doing it in that time frame.
Mm.
Because they're new with a new visitor center, with all this, that like they're gearing up that whole area for a better tourist experience.
Yeah.
Because it's a Middle Eastern city. When you get down to it, and you before you were going into the city to go to the Cairo Museum, and I'll be honest with you, was absolutely devastated in. Was it 2012 when they had that civil unrest?
Oh yeah.
It might have been sooner than that. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember watching it on TV, and I'm watching them ransack their own museum.
Yeah.
And having been in that museum and seen all the amazing things in it, I just couldn't believe that they would do that to their own stuff.
Yeah.
And it made me sad. It made me sad to see it. And I was glad to hear that almost everything got recovered. It's not like, oh, you know what we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about the Sphinx at all.
Oh yeah.
Which is a whole nother, amazing conversation in and of itself.
Yeah, and that's the Sphinx is one of the points that those guys that I was telling you about that had the 12,000 year theory. They use the Sphinx a lot as an example of that, because I guess at some point, the Nile overflooded and parts of the Sphinx were underwater for years.
Right.
And they were looking at erosion and things like that, and basically that's one of the things that they use to
interesting
theorize that it's that those structures are a lot older than we believe.
Yeah, I'm looking at some alternative researchers suggest it's much older than Khafre's time, citing water erosion, just like you just said.
Yep.
Unsupported by mainstream Egyptology. There are no inscriptions definitively dating the Sphinx to Khafre's reign, fueling speculation. Yeah, that is the one thing with the pyramids that did strike me: the insides being so plain, and the outsides of that having no, like the Sphinx had obviously is like, oh look, it's the face, right, and there's it has an entrance kind of in the chest piece, and apparently there's a rear entrance.
My penis is smooth.
But that's none of that's accessible to the public. I mean, it's the closest I got was driving by it on a bus, and realizing how small
My penis is smooth.
how small the Sphinx actually was.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like forced perspective when you're looking at it. Even in the picture of me. I forgot that was up. Remove. It's lower because the the three main pyramids there are up on a plateau,
Mhm.
and there's all these other pyramids that are built around it too. There's
Right.
there we didn't even talk about, but there's like smaller pyramids that some are for the high priest that for they're saying it was for Khafra. Like
Mhm.
the Great Pyramid is like was in and of itself like its own representation.
Yeah.
The Khafra pyramid and then the smaller pyramids around it all came later
Mhm.
after the Great Pyramid. I forget where I was going with that. Oh, and then they had the like if you look at the overhead, I think you can fairly clearly just distinguish where the dock was,
Mhm.
where the waterway kind of came in.
Yeah.
Like they're underneath the Sphinx, kind of off to the side.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of illustrations out there that show, what it looked like when the Nile was full, and you had all those waterways going through there.
Yeah,
It's fascinating looking at those concept arts from back then. How it was such a much more lush environment, and
the Nile is just truly an amazing body of water, and I didn't appreciate it until I was there.
yeah.
We had lunch on the Nile.
Did you?
You had like one of those. The boat was tied up. I don't think we actually went anywhere. Can't remember if we did or not.
Mhm.
I think we just had lunch there. I don't think we actually sailed the Nile. We just had lunch on it.
Okay.
But it was just just a fascinating experience. Yeah, that trip. Just putting a bow on it.
Mhm.
That trip, it was that same trip where I went to Tunisia.
Mhm.
That was all in the same trip. So I went from the pyramids to the ruins in Carthage and the Roman bathhouse. Like, saw like a Roman amphitheater built into the side of a hill.
Nice.
Just random shit. And what struck another thing that struck me about what being in Egypt, around the pyramids there was definitely guards and there was people kind of watching where you were going and stuff like that. And there was really no place to go.
Mhm.
Like you were either going to like go walking off into the city or out into the desert to die.
Sure.
But in a place like Carthage or like where the bathhouse was and stuff,
Mhm.
just you walked all over everything. Like there's no like, oh hey, these don't go beyond these ropes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't touch these things.
Because that's kind of what I would expect.
no, nothing. Dude, the pieces of rock that I picked up are like, oh look at this, like oh here's how long has this piece of pottery been sitting on the ground here? Oh, who the fuck knows? Whoop. Put that in my little fucking container. That'll show up in some fucking archaeologist dig fucking 10,000 years from now. It's like, what the fuck is this doing here?
Right.
Like we carbon dated this on the other side of the fucking planet. Yeah.
So, a little breaking news. Apparently, our president says that Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire,
Wow.
which I would assume that also means between us and Iran, hopefully.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Could possibly go wrong. August 2027 solar eclipse will pass over Luxor. Oh man, there's so much. Dude, the Valley of the Kings, just tombs buried in the side of the fucking mountains.
Mhm.
You know, I love the idea. I love the idea, right? Before we close this out, I love the idea of like a pharaoh going like, "All right, I'm gonna cut a hole in the side of this mountain. I'm gonna we're gonna put all my shit in here,
Mm-hmm.
and have a couple of caves for the wife and kids. All right, cool. Here's Pharaoh number 1. Pharaoh number 2 is like, all right, I see your cave, and I'm going to dig down and make a bigger cavern,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to have like the best wallpaper ever. Like, all right, what are we going to do that? Oh yeah, have a room for wife and kids, and maybe and maybe the priest. All right, fine, fuck it, dig that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then 5 other people do similar shit, like all in the same area.
Yeah.
And then finally it gets to a guy that's like, you know what, fuck you, fuck your mountain, fuck these holes. I'm building my own mountain,
Yeah.
and I'll be buried inside that. So fuck you.
Yeah, and that's what some of my research showed was that they were considered almost like status symbols.
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
100%. Like everything was it was a dick measuring contest, right? To the upteenth degree. Like it really comes down to like it's basic male anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dick's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Like, do you see it? See how?
My penis is so smooth.
No. It's enormous, and I'm going to build a statue to show how enormous it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to have like, it's uncircumcised, obviously.
Yeah.
So every obelisk ever, right? It's just these phallus symbols,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just fucking enormous representations of giant dicks.
Yeah.
Everywhere, like just wave them around.
Yeah, and that's how the Great Pyramid even started. As soon as Khufu took the throne, he immediately commissioned this thing. And he's like, I want it to be bigger and fucking
Right.
larger than anything else.
See that flat spot over there? Clear that off. Get rid of those fucking... Yeah, I see those poor people. Get rid of them.
Mm.
See how the Nile's kind of floating near there? Perfect. Build a mountain right there.
Yeah.
And bury me right in the middle of it. And I want it to be climate controlled. Like 70 degrees, I think, is comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? If my heaven's got air conditioning. So let's make it like 70 degrees in there.
Mhm.
However big you have to build my mountain to make it 70 degrees in the middle of it, build that.
Yep. Do the math and figure it out.
Yep, get on that shit. Let's do it. We only live to like in our 30s, so gotta get on that.
Yep. Because I think it was initially a 20-year plan that ended up taking 27.
Which is still remarkable.
Yeah.
That's like,
well, because I think they calculated it and they said if it was to take 20 years, you'd have to be laying one of those massive 2-ton blocks into place every 3 minutes for 20 years.
which obviously, like, it when you talk about it in numbers like that, that's when it seems like this. It's just not possible.
Right.
And so like when it's impossible, then what? Aliens.
Yeah.
All right, that's why it's so easy to bring into like this. All right, let's build in the cosmological constant into this to make this work.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it felt like humans built it. It had that. Yeah, everything is really perfectly lined up, but it still had. It just felt like it.
Mm.
I don't know.
Like you could just tell that
Yeah, I
men
can't.
put these things into place.
I can't otherwise describe it. I mean, and especially since I've been. Again, I've lived a charmed life. I've been to this place. I've been to the Parthenon. I've been to I've been to Rome several times.
Yeah.
So I've been to all those ruins
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the Colosseum, I've been around shit that's been around for thousands of years that was built by men.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like that.
Yeah.
It just did. Take it for what it is.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good stopping point then. We're sorry that we didn't get to Easter Island, but we'll save that for potentially next week.
I look. I did not articulate as well as I would have liked all of the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll it's almost like it's like doing a separate podcast. It's like, all right, this is the first one. I think we can. There's plenty of shit to talk about with this. There's plenty of places that shit. There's plenty of places that I've been that we could fucking talk about.
Oh, of course.
And you've been to a handful of places too.
Mhm.
Like, you're not gonna hide from it. Even though you probably hid from it.
Only
No.
Anchor Wat.
I mean, that's
But there was no way I was flying on a foreign airline.
Dude.
That was the big driver for me staying
yeah.
for that one.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that when we talk about Anchor Wat.
Yeah.
Which we definitely will. I don't even want to do the reads at
Okay.
the end.
All right.
I'm fucking exhausted.
Well,
And I-
okay. We'll say follow us on the socials. It's in the description of the podcast.
Yeah.
And
I really really hope that that Nick Svensson's got power. Please, for the love of God, Pico, get your shit together and get power to that kid.
yeah, Jesus. Yeah, follow us on all the socials and follow all of our friends. Orange and Fetch Show.
Yep.
ATSW, the Escape Pod. All those guys. Used and Abused. We
Yeah.
love those guys.
Listen to it till the end. Follow us at bio.link / the Sidebar Cantina. All that good shit. I'm
Yep.
tired.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your insights today. And again, sorry we didn't get to Easter Island. Maybe we'll do that next week. And until then, everybody, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Okay, now what do I click? I was trying to think of something. I have to post, like, I'm a little behind on the audio, so
Okay.
I also have to write waivers tonight.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
So you got to work after work.
yeah, I gotta work after work.
Yeah. So
unfortunately.
here's what I'm thinking, because I have not started that Catalyst
Oh, you haven't?
book yet.
Okay.
So we could do Easter Island next week, and that'll give me more time to
Sure.
to get caught up on the reading.
I gotta pee.
These fucking little gnats in here are driving me up the fucking wall. Are they being attracted by the empty Coke cans? Is that what's going on?
I don't know why they be.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't bring food in here.
There's no sugar. It's just
Yeah. I don't know, but they're seem to be pretty prevalent all of a sudden. So.
All right, let me pee first.
All right.
Oh man, my legs don't want to work.
He looks like one of those German people with the suspenders on. You know, you see at the beer fests where they've got the shorts and the suspenders on. I don't know what all that is called, but that's what Dave kind of looks like right now. That's what he looked like as he was walking away. Anyway. All right, guys. I'm going to end the stream now. It was fun. Tune in next week and we'll talk more about these enigmas, unexplained enigmas. And yeah, we'll see you then. Good night.